Recording. All right. Hello and welcome to session 1 of Fight for Blight. So, the first thing that we normally do is we just go around the table and check in, see how everyone's week was. For us in particular, I believe it has actually been over 2 weeks. December 7th is the last time we had gotten together for our session 0. So, it's been a little bit of time, but we'll go down the line and start with, I'll just continue to call you each by your Discord names until we introduce like the characters fully. So, Askin, how was it since the last time we had heard from you?
Work's been insane. Been working a lot, holidays and all that, but other than that, good.
Ant?
Pretty good. Yeah, busy. My hard drive for my laptop at work crashed last week, so that was really fun. But luckily, it all got recovered, so it's good.
That's good. If you don't get it recovered, then it's terrible.
Yeah, it was. My laptop went black, and it just had this error code, and so I was looking into it, and I started googling it. It was like, well, either your hard drive is like completely totaled, or there's a motherboard issue, and it's not that big of a deal. So I was like, oh god, please let it be the second one. But yeah, it was just the second one, so it turned out okay. But I had a few days of like solid panic.
Well, glad it worked out for you. Monkey? Yeah. How was your time?
It's been good. I would say everything's going pretty great, except we're dealing with like a pretty severe plumbing issue in the kitchen. Thankfully, not a bathroom, but that's been stressful.
Good thing you said that. I was just about to make a joke on Shot Dog, but you saved it.
Yeah, no, that would be sad. But this is like the second saddest, I think, because we both love to cook. I mean, also we just have to eat, so yeah.
True. Ruckus, how about you?
Yeah, things are cool. I think exactly today I've been in Atlanta for like a week. I just moved down, started a new job, so I'm getting into the flow of things. Can't complain too much.
That's good. So yes, Trevor, like in the Discord, if you change it yourself, if you right click our names, you'll be able to change the volumes. Like I was saying, the ambiance that's coming through what I have called ZZ Top, that's probably always going to be super loud. So if you would rather just play like your own music, then probably make it a little easier for you. But if you right click it, you can toggle all the volumes.
All right, I got it. Appreciate it.
No problem. Shot Dog, how about you? I mean, other than the plumbing issue.
Yeah, pretty much that's the only thing that's been kind of a downer, is limiting my fat kidosity. But everything else is pretty good right now. Preparing for the holidays and whatnot.
That's good. Be the first holiday with the kids, so that'll be fun.
Yeah.
All right, and Trevor, last but not least.
Everything's been cool. Drinking a lot, defending these here United States like I'm supposed to, or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I guess that's true. If drinking is a part of the job, then you're doing it well.
It is, trust me. It's in our contracts.
Well, then that's good. You get paid extra for the more you drink, right?
Of course.
Good, good. Just making sure. All right. Well, as I was saying before when we were doing our session 0 meetup, the first few sessions will be a tutorial of sorts. So what this is going to do is that while we go through roleplay and stuff like that in-game, it'll also get everyone used to not only just like the roleplay aspect with each and every one of us, but it will also get everyone used to how like your character sheets work, how to do the dice rolls, and all that fun stuff. So, like I said, we'll go through it. The more and more, obviously, like we start to get used to it, the quicker and easier it'll be. So if there's any questions while we're going through it, please do not hesitate to ask. It's what these first few games are not only for, but as each of you kind of stated before, Roll20 experience is very limited to none in an overall aspect. So, normally what I do is I will have each of you give a recap in the beginning of the session. With that in mind, obviously there's nothing to recap for last session. So I went ahead and wrote up a little bit of a thing. Some of you might have kind of like read it previously, but just to kind of like set the mood and get going from there. Is everyone ready?
Yep.
Yep.
Ready.
Let's do it.
All right. So the first little bit of part is just for each of you, the players, and also people who will be watching this and going through the adventure with us. So, welcome to the stream. Thank you all for participating in this journey of Fight for Blight with me, where each of you are forced into your roles of a royal high elf family. Your backstory takes place in the ice-cold country of Zidane, a place in the world of Elista that most have found or find to be a wasteland, as most of it is covered in snow and ice throughout the years, and the weather is severe enough to kill anything caught in its path. Each of you are brother and sister, reaching the ages where you're finally the youngest of you is deemed worthy to begin training for your future roles as leaders of the nearby cities and the city of Blight itself. While the oldest, training to become king and to rule the whole country of Zidane. Your father, King Errol Grimhearth, has instructed his royal court made of 7 individuals to work with each of you, either individually or in groups depending on their choice. Beginning in the capital city of Blight and traveling out from there until each of your training is complete and each of you can fulfill your roles. It is the year 1101 on March 20th as we begin our adventure. What would be the first day of spring is yet another cold day in Zidane. However, while inside the city walls of Blight, you all find yourselves warm. Even with the cold air outside, today brings warmth to you, as it marks a special day in your lives. The youngest sibling of each of you, your party, Adashi, is of age, and as your father wished, this is the day that would also symbolize that each of you begin working together to grow into your roles as leaders of Blight in the country of Zidane. Each of you had taken this morning to get ready in your proper attire and begin meeting just outside the Great Hall. As each of you make your way down the castle halls, you come to the area that you know to be the Great Hall. At the moment, 2 high elf guards stand, both dressed in chainmail, and long blonde hair, and green eyes. The doors are shut as each of you are waiting for the full party to arrive. At this point, I'm going to ask each of you to do your first rolls of the night, which is going to be a flat D20. So, up in the top left corner, under where you have your pointer, your ruler, and things up in that nature for that toolbar, you can collect the thing that looks like a dice and then roll a D20 from there. Or, you can type in the chat, /roll 1d20.
And you're on roll 20.
That's correct, on roll 20.
Yeah, just in case for folks.
And I'm retarded, so 1 second. There we go.
So, first thing that I'll ask you guys, just to make it a little bit easier, is like for an example, if you want to put like what Shot Dog did and then like slash your character name, that'll help me like figure it out a little bit more. But I do think we are missing one role. Yes. And that would be from you, Mr. Ruckus. Now, for those that
So you
have
said I
already...
could put in /20. I just logged in. My
Oh,
bad.
slash R
Or-
1d20 or slash roll 1d20. Okay. So, this is going to work out pretty well, considering how just the dice rolled out. But just to reiterate on what I was saying for like the name changes, up in the top right of the window, you'll see like a little cogwheel that says My Settings. If you click that, your display name, you can change that to what your character's name is. Or like if you want to put your Discord name slash your character name, and then this way it'll help me put your roles together a little bit more, because I'm gonna get used to calling you by your character names, and then when I see like your actual name or your Discord name, it might throw me off.
So I see everybody else doing this.
So, with these roles, we are going to start with who would be the first to arrive, which kind of makes sense. Being the youngest, with what today marks, you are probably more than excited, but I'll let you describe how you feel, along with introducing your character, your like appearance, how you look, and everything like that. So we're gonna go ahead and start with you, Ant.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, Adachi, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yeah, you sound good on my side.
Okay, cool. Sorry, for some reason I thought I was still on mute. No worries. Okay, so yeah, Adachi is the youngest. You guys are probably a little annoyed with him. He's probably, he's like, it's that younger, like annoying younger brother thing. He is also very obsessed with the eldest brother, Virik. So being his birthday, he's pretty pumped. About 18, 20-ish years ago, he had actually abdicated his royal duties and joined the Kingsguard. He did this because he had a prophecy, or like a dream, where he saw a vision about his brother Virik, and he's interpreted that he is destined to kind of be his right-hand man and to make sure that he fulfills his destiny. So he joined his royal guard. So I would imagine he's really excited. He's also the youngest. He's heard word of something going on where we might be leaving the castle. So he's pretty pumped. He's been talking, like dropping hints to the king and the queen for a while now. Like, hey, I really think I'm ready. My birthday's coming up. I really think I know I'm young. I'm just starting out, but like I think Virik really needs me there. And I think since he's also part of the guards, he probably knows the two guards at the front. So he's gonna like be small talking with them, trying to sound like, oh yeah, seen anything crazy today? Like, yeah, that those peasants can get rowdy sometimes. Like just hamming it up with them. So that's what he's doing, kind of nervously waiting to see if he gets allowed to go on whatever adventure the group's going on. Oh, and sorry. So appearance, he
Yeah.
his hair is short on the sides. Yeah, sorry, got a little carried away. His hair's short on the sides, kind of longer on top. But after he had this vision, his body was kind of branded with these tattoos. So he has tattoos kind of covering his whole body. That kind of looks more like a brand. And there's like some weird constellation looking things, and some of it's like weird glyphs and runes. Sometimes it's a picture, and it seems like they can kind of change. Sometimes you look at and notice one, and then like a week later it'll be a little bit different. So yeah, so that's what he looks like. He is. My picture doesn't do it quite justice, but he has a kind of pale blue skin, dark hair, green eyes. About a like average build, lean muscle. So yeah, sorry to answer your question.
to answer the main point, yes. But as stated, and I feel like with what you described, definitely anxious as the player and as Adachi to not only prove yourself, but to get out there and see what everything has in store.
Yeah,
So,
he's ready. He's ready to go.
Adachi, as you're standing there, kind of hamming it up with the two guards, you'll see them giving like little bits of smiles and just like your natural insight. You can tell that they're laughing sometimes genuinely, but sometimes just more of like a forced laugh. And as the conversation kind of begins to turn a little bit into that awkward stage, as each of you are running out of things to say, the next person who will be making their way up will be you, Askin. So if you'd like to introduce your character, the name, all that good stuff.
All right, so I will be playing Crix. He is, how to describe him? He's rather tall, even for an elf. He's also, he's built. Like, if you look at him, he looks sturdy. He has long, sort of silvery white hair, and he generally looks fairly serious. Although if you catch him, he can be in, a rather good mood sometimes. So he's not, dour all the time. I don't know. He's sort of your average middle child. He kind of wants to be a part of everything, but that makes him excel at almost nothing. Like, he looks up to the older ones, but he also wants to be a great role model to the younger ones. And that's about what I've got for him for now.
Nice. Well, so far it seems to be working out really well with the dice rolls and kind of just how each of you will end up approaching. But Adachi, as the conversation, as I was saying, kind of starts to take that like awkward turn as each of you are running out of things to say. This is when you'll notice Crix beginning to make his way forward. As you stare down the hall, you can see coming up behind Crix to be the next one, which will be Monkey. From your rolls, you're up next.
Yeah, so I am Mayvara, or May, sometimes in occasionally affectionate moments to other people in her family. I am the younger sister, barely, of Viric's younger twin. We were born a few minutes apart. She's tall by elf standards, I think, and definitely by human standards as well. She is 215 years old. Her skin is very pale. Her hair is dark blue, mostly like almost looks gray. I mean, black, but it is blue. And her eyes are gray. She is most comfortable like in the wilderness hunting, especially, and it is definitely difficult, maybe not difficult, but it's not the easiest part of her day to be sort of in court and be doing sort of princessy things. She'd much rather be out in the wilderness.
All right. And then next coming down, arriving fourth, will be your character, Ruckus. So if you'd like to introduce all that stuff, it's now your turn.
Okay. So I think out of all of my siblings, I would be the most, I don't want to say outcasted, but the most odd. So out of all of us, I'm the half elf instead of a full high elf. In terms of features, I have darker features. My skin, um, even my hair and things, they're all darker, and I'm shorter as well. So even with human standards, I would be considered either average or below average height. But fortunately, he can make up with that with his dexterity and his athleticism and what have you. Um, so over the past few decades, he spent that time traveling around the world just to get a grasp on different cultures and to also feed into his own vices as well, whether that was food or alcohol, what have you. And he just spent that time to, try to find himself. And eventually he stumbled upon um, a group of monks. So he stayed with them for a while, but then he was recalled back to Blight after his father sent a message. So he's back and he's trying to, rebuild those bonds with his siblings and his family. But yeah, the black sheep is like he's accepted everywhere, but he doesn't feel like he belongs anywhere. Still trying to find himself.
All right. And then next to introduce themselves, showing up just before last will be your character, Shot Dog.
Nice. Um, so Creep Tilly is probably about 175, uh, about 5'8", slim, um, very cold with her talk with her siblings. Um, yeah, they usually walk with their shield on back, sword on hip, always armed. And yeah, I think that's it. Is there anything else?
All right. And the person that each of you are awaiting to be crowned the next king, as a little described as May being just moments behind the oldest and heir to the throne. Trevor, would you like to introduce your character?
Well, my character's name is Vieric, and as it was stated, I'm the twin of Mayfire. And Vieric is very nonchalant and level-minded in any situation he's put in. He's about 5'7", 160, and he's a master thief who aspires to be the best thief ever.
You
King of
won't have to
Thieves.
even be that good of a thief, being the next king. Everything will just be
King
given
of
to you.
Thieves.
King of Thieves.
Yeah.
He thinks he's really good, but really everyone just gives him stuff. Like they let him steal the stuff. 'Cause he's the heir.
I mean, either way, he'll take it.
Oh, it's good.
Well, with Varek, the last to arrive, as each of you have kind of just waited, knowing that the only time to make your way into the hall is when each of you are fully gathered to be in your father's presence. But as Varek kind of makes his way up, one of the guards will pipe up. Princess, are you all ready to make your way inside, or is there some time that you need before making your way?
Let's get this over with.
That's how I feel.
Adachi would
Awkwardness
look to
is life.
Vieric. Adachi would look to Vieric and say, my lord, are you ready to proceed?"
Yeah, whatever. Let's do this.
Everyone's so excited.
Agreed.
Well, your father's already inside. All right. Good luck. And both the guards will begin to open the large wooden doors, double-sided, and they open from the center. And as they open up, hitting against the walls. It lets out a slight echo through the empty hall. Before you lays a purple rug, kind of more violet in color of the purple style, but it flows down the center of the room, going over the center statue of the two gods of Olin, the Golden Father, and Atia, the Dawn Mother. On the outsides, the surrounding gods of Elista. You see Olin, Deanna, Memphis, and all the others. While carved in a slight bluish color, the outsides are covered in a thin layer of ice underneath what each of you, or the ice covering what each of you would be known as cold iron, a very rare ore mainly found in the Stokeland Mountains. And while the Stokeland Mountains have this ore in abundance, it is very difficult to get it. Going to the Stokeland Mountains is almost guaranteed death. But the purple rug goes on and around the statue of Olin and Atia in the center, surrounding in a circle pattern, before leading up to the 4 steps where your father sits on the throne. Before you is King Errol. Now, while obviously very familiar with your characters, I will describe him for each of you. Stands about 6'2" in height. You know him to be roughly 568, but you would know from the previous years he seems to be repeating that number, not ever growing older. Mostly gray hair with hints of black, slightly salt and peppered, and a decent build for an older elf. You can see that his faces are scarred underneath his right eye, and his arms from the previous wars that Zidane has had in its past. You know that your father has also been the ruler of Blight and the country of Zidane since approximately the age of 108 years old, when your grandfather, Vivek, was killed during a hunting trip. While your father might be strong-headed, he does always try to do what is right for his people and also his family. And all of the others, civilians here in Zidane. But as each of you approach, making your way around the 2 statues in the center. Ah, children. It's lovely to see you. A bit late in the day, but glad that you all are here. As you know, today is your youngest brother's birthday. And also the day where you will start your training. And then he will stand up from his throne and make his way down the stairs, opening his arms and say, "Oh, how each of you have grown fast. Now, come here and give your father a hug."
Adachi will move very obediently because he thinks of himself as more of a servant than a son. So he will say, "Yes, yes, Lord Father," and will quickly give the most studious hug possible.
It is indeed a joyous day, Father. And I'll give him a hug.
Creed Tilly will approach him and give him a very soft hug, and then exit quickly.
May approaches and gives him a warm, short hug and says, "It's finally time, Father."
Just Stalin walks up and he says, "What the hell? It's my old man." And he gives him a firm grip, meaning a hug.
And how were your travels, son? In the outside
They
world
went
treating
well.
you well?
I learned a lot. Apparently not enough. I need more training, but I learned a good bit about the world.
Yes, unfortunately, experience and culture doesn't raise your knowledge in battle, but that's what each
No,
of us
not
will
too
be
much.
beginning here today.
Right.
He'll make his way over to Uvarek and then say, "Don't make me force it on you."
Varric stands back, looks around, accepts the hug, and leaves.
Oh,
Like the room or just the grasp?
The room.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
I immediately follow him out and hopefully bring him back in without a fight.
While your sister tries to calm your brother, I will begin to explain to each of you what each of you will be beginning with. So, Leo Loyalar, the Master of War, will begin your training today. If each of you have everything that you need to start your day, then you will make your way through the city and towards the Colosseum. There, you will begin your training. And then with that, we'll cut over to May real quick as she is chasing down Varek.
Brother, where are you going?
I got better things to do.
She like rolls her eyes intensely. Come on. Not today.
Well, you could always join me instead of being in there with them.
Or you could find a better time to do whatever it is you need to do.
I can't. Wait. My friend is leaving.
I know you say you want to be the best in the world, Varric, but you're gonna have to get better at concealing it. And she like shakes her head but chuckles and walks back to the room.
By the time you're walking back into the room, your father is just finishing up his little spiel. Well, it seems that you were unable to bring your brother back in. Perhaps this training is exactly what he'll need in order to start filling the shoes as the heir to the throne. Wouldn't you say, May?
I guess we can only hope.
So, my sons and daughter, is there anything that I can help you with before you begin your day? Any questions? Pointers? Anything that may help this go as smoothly as possible?
I was
Hey, this is
actually
Adashi.
wondering if there's.
Go ahead.
Oh, didn't mean
No,
to
go for it.
interrupt.
Go for it.
Adashi.
No, Adashi will allow you to continue. Please continue.
Oh, thanks, bro. I was actually wondering if we had some of that good old high elf wine somewhere. Make it a little less awkward.
It may not be the best time for wine.
Always the best time for wine. But I'll wait.
If you think a couple of drinks will help calm your nerves, then maybe one or two, but anything more than that, I would be worried about it hindering any sort of performance.
I have no idea what I've been doing for 30 years, but I appreciate it.
Adashi would speak up and say, Lord Father, you know I've been begging you and Mother for this opportunity to train with my siblings for what feels like months now. But should I pursue Lord Vieric? I know it's not my shift as part of his guard, but he does seem in one of his moods. Should perhaps maybe we can reschedule? I worry for his safety.
I come back in and say, "Well, that was easy. So now, what's this training about?"
That's easy.
I thought she says, never mind, Lord Father. This works out great." And he'll go stand by Vieric.
Well, then, since Eric, you seem to have something a little bit more important to do when our meeting is taking place, perhaps your brothers and sister can explain to you what each of you will be doing for the day while you make your way there. Now, it is still early in the afternoon. It should be just about 11 in the morning. We're getting close to it now. Leo is expecting to see you all there at midday, at the top of the hour. Do not be late.
Understood, Father.
Yes, Lord Father.
Make it happen.
May nods.
Well, good luck.
By the way, Adachi, happy birthday. Let's make this a good one.
Oh, thank you again, Father. There's no greater present than I can have than being allowed to train with my siblings and Lord Vieric.
Creep Tilly
you
looks
again.
at Adachi with a very cold stare, just like, please shut up.
All right.
And yeah.
So, as each of you make your way out of the Great Hall and begin to make your way through the castle, at this point is like the times in the game where I'll say something along the lines of what you guys are seeing, and then like open it up to you. So at this point, then obviously you would know that you have like a timed event where you need to get to a spot at this point or risk potential consequences. Mechanically speaking, later on, that could mean the pass or fail of a quest line, for an example. While each of you are doing like the tutorial, things are a little bit more lenient, so it's just kind of to like get everyone a little used to how the game will go, and then we'll take the training wheels off it, I guess you could say. So as each of you make your way out the Great Hall and into the castle halls, you're met with like the same kind of architecture, polished stone, almost in like a slight bluish hue, as most of the area is, I guess in a way, slightly frozen over to give you like the visual idea. It's not cold; it's just kind of like how it looks. But all polished, nice colored, like ice blue stone. And you make your way down the halls. You can see the portrait of your family members from years past. Most that have gone to the afterlife. Those others still around. You see also the portraits of the 7 royal court members that served your father, and along with a portrait of your father as well. But at this point, I'll go ahead and open it up to each of you and see where you all go from here.
As we're leaving, I kind of quickly walk up to Stalin and hand him like a leather wineskin full of like elvish wine,
Oh,
and just say, "I'm glad you're back," and like kind of speed walk away.
and of course I'm grateful, but before I could tell her how grateful I am, she walked away. But I take 2 sips and put the rest away for now.
Do we
So
see
I
any kind
quiet,
of? Oh, go ahead.
so I quietly just walk away from the group.
Can can Adachi roll like a perception check to see if he notices that Vyric's leaving?
Yes, if you're gonna try to make your way away, then Adashi, go ahead and give me a perception check, and Varek, if you are trying to make like a stealthy getaway, you can roll a stealth check.
How do I do
Okay,
that
so
again?
Right, perfect. I'm glad that you asked.
yes,
So,
Learning time.
yes,
that was my
Yes.
question.
if you have your D&D Beyond character sheet open and the extension Beyond 20 installed, if you're using Chrome, it's called other things if you're using like Firefox and whatnot. If you do you have that sheet open, ready to go?
I have the character sheet. The Beyond 20 thing, give me a.
Same thing for you, Adachi. Do you have that?
Getting it
I
now.
do.
All right.
Um,
So if you
I
have
do.
that already to go from your character sheet, you can click the word perception or like the dice, and it will roll it just like it has done.
Cool.
All right, I just installed it.
Perfect. So on your sheet, you should be able to like hit the near the word stealth. It's like almost directly, like kind of in the middle for skills, and then you just click that, and it should roll directly to this chat window. All right, so you successfully make your way away, Adachi, as like you kind of take a look around as Varek slips off yet again. The only thing that you do notice is there's only one way that he could have gone, which is just down the hall to the other way. There's not really that many like winding passages here. Heading towards the front gate, each of you would be like making your way towards the east, and then Varek kind of takes off back towards the west.
Adachi would just kind of be like, "Shit, again? Like how? Why? I should be better than this. Like, why can't I see him?" And then I guess he would run down the hall in the way he thinks he maybe went, and just start yelling his name, Lord Vyric, Lord Vyric, you need an escort. You have a great destiny. Your safety is our top priority. Just like running like super obnoxiously, like hopefully completely like blowing his cover, but not intentionally. He just wants to find him and like be by his side.
And what's your goal,
And I guess
Varek?
I go to a poor village to deliver my stolen goods from my quote unquote meeting earlier.
Okay. Go ahead and actually, I don't even think that would require a roll. I mean, the time that you've spent here and things of that manner. So we'll say what you did is like you kind of made your way off to the west, like breaking away and losing the tail of the group. Eventually, Adachi, you feel that you know, this is just kind of what Varek does, and he'll show back up when the time's right. You make your way back to the rest of the party, and each of you continue heading towards the castle gates and into the main city of Blight. At that point, Varek, you are easy. Like, you can easily enough find a poor villager, and exactly what are you going to give him?
It would be jewels that I thiefed from some random guy.
All right.
So,
Here's
I-
what I will say. It's pretty easy for you to be able to get jewels, whether or not that you're actually good at what you're doing will be intended to be seen. But even if you are unsuccessful, you definitely have like the means to be able to pull from the royal treasury, coins and little things here and there in order to fund your what's a good way to put it?
Hobbies.
Yeah, your
Charity
hidden,
work.
your hidden hobby.
There it is. Charity work.
Okay, that's what we'll call it, charity work, as you say it. So after you do so, knowing your destination as well, and just trying to be a little bit hasty, as each of you are making your way down the main east road towards where the arena would be, can each of you go ahead and give me another perception check? This way, it will get each of us used to like doing the dice rolls from the sheets, making sure everything's good.
do you have a preference on if it rolls 2 dice or 1?
Not sure if mine linked up. Let's see. I got one roll on the D&D Beyond. I just want to make sure it's connected to the roll 20.
I haven't seen your roll yet. Sometimes it does lag, but if it's not automatically connected, I would just refresh the roll 20 page and then you should be fine.
Okay.
I think I did it right.
Mm-hmm.
Weird though, because it doesn't show my plus to perception like it does with the others, but it did. I did get the same roll on both.
So, if you like hover over the number for like what you rolled, it'll say like rolled a d20 plus your wisdom modifier. So for the first roll that you did, it was a 6, and then there's a +4, so it gave you a 10.
Okay. Oh, and one click to roll. I double clicked. That's why I did it twice. Okay.
Yeah, well, like I said, sometimes it loads really, really slow, so there's like sometimes it's wonky, but yeah. Usually, if you just click it a few times, it ends up working. And as for rolling like the 2 dice, usually we'll just roll like 2 dice if it's at advantage, and then to roll for advantage on from the D&D Beyond sheet, I believe it's just shift click.
So I think, isn't that a roll 20 setting that's making the dice go twice? Am I crazy? Because in my other roll 20 game, it rolls twice, and I've never figured out how to turn it off.
Uh-oh. What happened? Ooh, I think we hit a lag spike. Or maybe it was just me. Is everyone there?
Yeah, I'm
But
still
yeah,
here.
I can hear you.
Oh, I don't know if like
Yeah,
Discord
mine
hit a lag
still
spike.
didn't pop up for some reason.
Let me look for you.
Okay. Yeah, because it says I'm in the campaign Fight for Blight when I'm looking at my D&D Beyond.
And you have Beyond 20 installed? Well, if you're on Chrome again, that is. If you're on a different web browser, it'll be called something else.
It's
Maybe I
Chrome and
should switch web
Firefox.
browsers. Let me see.
You can get beyond 20 for Chrome and Firefox.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, for some reason I had this pop up in a different browser. Hold on. Switch browsers and see if that helps.
Well, I didn't roll very good for your character, but it definitely is connected. It's probably just the browser.
Oh,
There you go.
there it is.
Much better than what I rolled. I rolled a 9 from your character sheet, so
Oh man. Okay, yeah, it was the browser.
perfect.
That's
All right.
it.
Well, glad we got that figured out pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So after Vrek, you get done with your charity work, as you called it, and each of the rest of the family is heading down the main east road. Each of you will spot each other. Vrek just beginning to make his way out of like an alleyway in about 20 to 25 feet ahead of you along each of your paths.
Adachi would cry out, Lord Vieric, you need to lead. You need to always have a guard with you. Please, just next time. And he's like running. He's like running to catch up. Please, just next time, just let me come with you, please. You know I begged Father for this position. I can't keep messing up. Please, Lord Vieric.
May, can you talk to your brother?
He's your brother too. And I turn to Adachi and I say, he's literally your brother too.
That's debatable.
I think Adachi would look to May and say, Lady Mavera, you know that I gave up my position as a brother to protect Lord Viric's destiny. So please, you feel no need to treat me like a brother. I am just one of your servants, one of your guards. No need for that level of respect.
Little brother, you cannot give up your blood. You will be our brother regardless of what you say.
Exactly.
I don't think Adachi doesn't know what to say to that, so he's just like, okay. And
I
he just
also
kind of bows
punch.
awkwardly.
I like punch Varric in the arm and I say, be nice.
It is my birthday.
I just laugh and keep walking.
Adachi's like right on your tail, as if you were like didn't say it. Like he doesn't like regardless of what you say, he's always gonna follow you, and I'm sure you're probably annoyed by it because this has been this way I think for at least several months. So yeah, he's just like following right after you.
Anybody else?
Crix is just gonna keep going to the arena like he was ordered to.
All right, just Stalin takes 2 sips from his wineskin and he says, "What the hell?" Then he runs up to Varric to try to persuade him to come back. Do I need to roll for it?
So if Varric, if you're going off in a different direction again, and if that is the case, then yes, for an example, then Salin, you would roll for like a persuasion check.
Persuasion check. Okay.
Nah, I was just going to where we're going this time.
Oh. Okay.
But for like that would be like the difference of like if you would make that roll or not. But yes, that's to answer the question though. What you're asking, that was the correct skill check for that situation. So, bravo to you, sir.
Learning experience. Okay.
Exactly. So, making your way through the city of Blight, while it is quite massive, each of you are more than familiar with each of these streets. Making your way through the city streets, you'll be greeted in like the proper gestures from the civilians here in the city of Blight. Most smiling, waving, giving bits of like like a bow or like a little bit of a nod if they're a little too elderly to be bending as such a way for to show the proper respect. It taking about 30 minutes to make your way through, and as each of you make your way to the arena, you'll see that the main portcullis that is usually shut, that you know of to be cast from iron, is open. You hear a voice from inside. Well, it's better to be early than to be late. Come on in. And then this is when we get to actually interact with things a little bit more, and I'm going to pull you each to the next map.
First map, woohoo!
So, as you can see, making your way in through the tunnel, what I will do is click right here. You'll see this gentleman that you all know to be Leo Loyalar up in the stands near the portcullis and the tunnel on the other side. What I'm going to do is have each of you add your tokens over here where I am pinging on the map. What I will do to make it a little easier is I'll do this. Kind of snap you all over to that area. So to add your tokens, what you will do is you will go to the journal tab as we had kind of discussed before and click and drag your name onto the map. And then when you let it go, your token will be on the map. Now, while you all add it, what I will let you do is get used to moving around your token and things of that nature for just a brief moment. But we'll get into some more of the details through our training and things of that nature. So, if each of you would place your tokens back over into like the starting area. Now,
Can we remove the names and the squares with the profile pictures on them, or at least minimize it a bit? It's kind of taking up like my whole screen.
So the names on like the bottom left of each of the people, yes. So up in the top right where there's that cogwheel, if
Right.
you go into that settings, player avatar names, it's under game settings. You can have it say names only, and then it'll just have the names. It'll get rid of the pictures for you.
Oh, okay. Names only. Gotcha.
Yes,
Yeah, because that was huge.
makes it a
on my
lot
screen.
cleaner.
Yeah, for sure. I couldn't see anything before. Okay.
Right. So, as stated, across the way, you will see who you know to be Sir Leo Loyalar, the Master of War for your father. Standing about 6'3" in height, pretty built for an elf. You would know him to be quite the warrior. Standing quite stout at 185 pounds. He's got long, matted brown hair with green eyes. He is very dark in complexion, and you would know him to be not only very loyal to your father, but in the interactions that you've had with Leo Loyalar in the past, that he looks to each of you as sons and daughters in your own respect. Well, as you can see here, the sand is still stained with blood from previous training.
Oh shit.
Well, you won't have to worry about falling into any sorts of pit of despair today. You'll be fighting some guards here from the city to get you each used to, I will say, half-paced combat at this point. As you can see, there's spikes along the walls and pillars that surround the arena that lays before you. In the center, a pit. Now, well, may be able to cause a little bit of distance between you and your opponents. Also, a great environmental aspect to use when in battle. But with that said, let me send in some of your opponents. And what I'm going to do is unmask these for each of you guys. And as the portcullis from the other tunnel rises, you can see some of the High Elven city guards of Blight make their way in. Each properly armed, just as each of you are, with chainmail, or a chain shirt, swords, or a spear and a shield, just as most of the guards are in the city. Now, these men here have been instructed to give you a good fight. But don't worry, while you may suffer some wounds, nothing here will be fatal. But if each of you are ready to begin, give me the word.
Kyle, sorry, how do you spell this guy's name?
Leo Loyalar?
Yeah. Loyilar, like Loy.
I will post it in Discord for you.
Thanks.
Leo, I'm like self-explanatory, I guess. Unless I'm a terrible speller. And that's not how you
Perfect, no.
spell Leo.
You got it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I step up to him, giving him a warm, like, more than a handshake, but like not a hug. This will be my first time using my bow on people, but I think you've trained me well. I'd like to go.
So, this will be step one. When we begin a initiative, what I will normally say, like when combat is going to ensue, will be, go ahead and roll for initiative. The main thing to remember with this is when you're rolling initiative from your character sheet, you need to have your token selected on roll 20. So you're going to click your token on roll 20, and then when you go over to your D&D Beyond sheet, you will click initiative. And then what that'll do is that will add your character to the turn order.
I don't see initiative.
It should be...
It's right under your proficiency bonus next to your armor class.
The armor class, I believe it's written out. If it's not written out and it is abbreviated, it'll say AC. I can't remember off the top of my head.
Okay, yeah, I see initiative now.
You probably have like a +2 or 3 to it.
Yeah,
I still don't see it.
it's at the top. You know where your armor class is, though, right? Underneath your walking speed, all this stuff is at the top.
Hold on.
Top right. Not all the way in the corner, but top right section. You'll see like a shield and that's armor class. And to the left of that is initiative.
Thanks, bud. You're so smart.
Not really, because I got a question. So all we click on is initiative, or do we have to do something before then?
So you'll just click your character token on the Roll20 map, and
Okay.
then what that'll do is that's pretty much the only thing that you really have to worry about, like with clicking your token, like when you're making your attacks, and
Right.
that's just because however the code's written, when you have it selected, it'll add it to the turn order for me. I mean, like if you mess it up, I can easily add it, but it
Okay.
just makes it a little easier. Okay, so we have 1,
We rolled really
2,
good for initiative.
3, 4, 5, and 6 of you. Okay, perfect. Now, if I go through here and I see that there is, for like an example, Justalin has rolled a 10, which is equal to what some of the opponents have rolled. And when that is the situation, the player will automatically get to go before the enemy. Just so everyone understands how those get broken down. But at this point, what I'm going to go ahead and do is add some battle music just to kind of match the mood a bit. But again, keep in mind that this is, could be very, very loud. So if it is, I apologize. And don't let it trick you. It starts off quiet.
I was gonna say, what is this? A pillow fight?
Well, technically, since it's all non-lethal, I guess, yes.
Are they
Please
gonna
don't.
yell non-lethal as they hit us?
Please
It's the
don't
only way
tease
to
the
be sure.
DM.
All right, well, as we begin the top of round 1, it will be Cryptili's turn. Now, Shot Dog, I know that you're a little bit more familiar with Roll20, but I'm going to go ahead and just explain it to you. This way, we can start putting it out there and everyone can get used to it from the beginning. So,
Beautiful.
as when you select your token to move, each square is normally about 5 foot. Your character has, roughly about 35 feet of movement, which is indicated on your character sheets. Now, with that in mind, so then this way that you are able to tell the distance, if you left click and move the token, when you right click on the map, you'll be able to set like little waypoints and it'll let you know how far your character is moving. Now, with this being a very big area, Leo will relay to each of you. Now, you can see that your opponents here have nothing but melee weapons, so attacking from a distance to begin might be a better choice. Keep in mind, some of your ranged weapons may not reach this distance. Know what you're using beforehand before just rushing into battle. So at that point, go ahead and Cryptili, take your turn.
Okay. I am going to move slightly forward. And then I'm gonna draw my crossbow.
All right.
It seems that person is a little out of my range, so I'm just going to notch a bolt.
All right. So you are going to hold your action for when something potentially comes within your range?
Yes.
Okay. So just so the rest of you are aware, when that is done, that will require your action. So instead of attacking, if no one's within the range, you can wait and then what's called holding your action for a key indicator to trigger it. And then if that happens, then you will get your attack. If it does not happen and you were preparing a spell, unfortunately your spell will just fizzle. If you have a like a weapon attack, like a sword attack prepared, then you just don't get to attack. But with that, that will be the end of Creep Teely's turn, which will bring us to the first Elven Guard. And what they will do is go ahead and use what is known as the dash action to make their way up to here, which at this point should put them within range of your crossbow attack.
Correct. They're in 90 feet. My range is 120.
All right. So go ahead and, since it meant that condition that you had stated earlier, go ahead and roll your crossbow attack. Now, if you don't have like your crossbow on or your weapon on your character sheet for D&D Beyond, you need to obviously have it on your sheet, but if it's still not in like your attack rolls, then what you'll need to make sure is just that the box is checked for the equipped. So on a 15 for the guard, as you shoot the crossbow forward, he'll just raise the shield, and you'll see the bolt just and kind of ricochet off of the shield as it bounces towards the pillar behind him. Unfortunately, unsuccessful in your attempt.
Oh man.
Okay.
And since he had used the dash action to get up there, that is all that he can do for this turn. And then it will be Varek's turn. Now remember, plan your move as each of your family members make their turns and as they proceed in the battle. Your plans may have to change, but that is the concept of knowing what your enemy is doing and how to adapt. With that in mind, make sure that each of you are communicating at all times. And what I will say by that, mechanically speaking, you do not have to wait for it to be your turn to talk to one another. So for an example, if one of you were to say, like, I'm going to hide here and attack with my bow, then that might be something worth communicating, so then your team knows where you may be. So, Varek, go ahead and make your turn. If you have any questions, please let me know.
I'm not sure how to move my guy.
Okay, so up in the top left, if you have that cursor, like that little arrow selected, you just hover over your token, and then you should be able to like just click and drag. Now, if you right-click during that process, it'll let you know how far your character is moving.
Ah, okay. So I'm gonna move to the top right and draw my bow. How do I shoot at this guy? The guy that's in front of me.
So the guy that's in front of you, for an example, like what you would do is if you left click and hold, it'll ping just like it had done there. And then I'll know who your target is just in case there's any discrepancy. And then after that, all you have to do is make your attack roll. So then from your
Oops.
from your sheet, you'll just attack with your bow, and if it rolls above what his AC is, then it'll be a hit. If not, then it is a miss.
Okay, sorry. Trying to figure this out.
Nope, that's totally
Looking
fine.
for the attack button.
That's why we are doing it this way. Get everyone used to everything.
Right. So where's this attack button?
So on the sheet, if you are on like the main part of it, let me pull it up so in this way I can assist you a little bit better. On like the third like major window down, so like if you look at the health and then underneath it's your defenses and conditions, and then underneath it's like another really big window. You see how it's got the actions selected for you, and then under actions, if you just go down a little bit, it says attack, and then it says your longbow. And then if you go to the right of where it says longbow, it'll have a +5, and then you just click that.
Okay, I clicked it.
And you rolled a natural 20. So what this means is that you actually double the damage dice in this situation. So go ahead and hit your damage. And if it doesn't do it automatically, don't worry about it. We'll get it taken care of. But this will be a hit, and as you step forward, drawing the bow back, as you just like get the arrowhead pulled back to the hilt in the front of the longbow, you release it, and with being unable to block it after just knocking away your brother's crossbow bolt, this arrow sinks in quite nicely. So it didn't actually double your damage dice, so go ahead and just roll the damage again, but I'm not going to add your modifier. Okay, so the first one is a 6 in total because you rolled a 3 and your modifier is a 3, so it's the 6 damage. The second roll, you rolled a 4, so that'll be 10 damage in total to this guard.
All right.
And with this arrow striking like just right in between some of the weak points, you will see that this guard is starting to just gush blood. You apparently have hit a bit of like a vein and an artery, and as he's just like beginning to leak and stain his chain shirt with his blood, you'll see him quite frightened in his eyes, trying to take a step back. Then we will move to one more of the guards' turns, who will use their turn making their way just south of the pit that lays before each of you. Crossing over and trying to take a point to pull some of the fire away from the other guard will step forward in front of this one and trying to take a slightly defensive posture in front of him. This one will follow along the south side, and then eventually what seems like forever but is relatively in like mechanically combat rounds are 6 seconds, so not a lot of time is going by each time this happens. But Stalin, it is your turn.
All right. I was wondering if there was any chance for stealth right now, or if they could just see us already.
So, with there being a bit of a open battlefield in the center, you do know that there are pillars and objects along the side.
Right.
To the north side of you, what would be like your cardinal northwest direction, a column with pillars lined about it, which could provide a little bit of cover. Hold on, I'm sorry, I gotta take a drink.
Okay.
But the one to the south, the column has no spikes, and the walls seem to be crumbled and damaged a bit. So if you were
Like
to
a
make
fallen pillar at the bottom.
yes, exactly. So if you were to
okay,
look
that's
for,
where I was going. Never mind.
yep, if you were looking
Okay.
for coverage in order to like do a stealth, you would need to break like the line of sight. So
Right,
if you
right.
wanted to move down there and kind of like hide away, then
Mhm.
you would do a stealth roll at that point to see if you've beaten their perceptions.
Okay. Gotcha. I'll move north for now for support. Wait, did I do that right? I was looking for distance.
So you have to like keep the left click held and then like hit the right click. You might have to hit it like twice to be able to like see the exact distance, but then it'll put
Right.
that point for you. From there, it looked like you'd only moved about like 15, maybe 20 feet at the most.
Yeah. So you left click on it and then
Left click, hold, and then just move it like one square up, right click. And then you should have a like a line forming. Then move it one square over, right click again.
yeah, for some reason I'm not seeing the line with the distance. Like
Yeah.
I saw with everyone else's.
Oh, they're using the ruler right now. Like when you're using
Oh, gotcha.
so the ruler is like it can kind of give you like an idea, but when you're moving your character, you'll use the select tool and the right click.
Okay. Let's see. Move 30 feet. Can we move diagonal or it's only up and down?
Yeah,
left and
you can
right?
move diagonal. And you can also
Okay.
move through like your comrade's space as well. Now that might take like a little bit extra movement for an
Right.
example. You can also attempt to move through an enemy space, but that will require like an athletics check to see if you can kind of shove them out of the way.
Okay. That's all I can do at this point is move. I don't really have any ranged weapons like that. All I have is darts.
Yep. So darts are a little bit of a ranged weapon by, you know, like a short medium range.
I think
Now,
it's like 20 feet.
yeah. But you do also have the option to use your dash action to sprint forward and basically double your movement.
Oh, okay. Is that unlimited?
It will. You can only do it like once per turn, but you can
Okay.
do it every round.
And you can do twice as much movement.
Yep.
Okay. So say I hide behind this pillar, I can do like a stealth check as well.
So if you like because of how far you can get with your movement at the moment, you'll be able to move a lot farther like later on with your class. But you won't be able to get there and hold your action. You'll have to do one or the other. Because holding your action takes your action.
Okay. But I could move behind the pillar and then just do stealth my next turn.
So if you move behind the pillar, you'll be able to stealth on your next turn. Because
Right.
the dash requires the action and so does stealthing. But what the pillar will also do just naturally is provide you cover from ranged attacks. So
Okay.
if they were to throw like their spears for an example or
Right.
have bows, then this column might add like, you know, +2 to +5 AC to your character for the turn.
Okay, gotcha. Well, I guess I'll dash. Just stay here for now.
All right. Now, with that in mind, as like I've stated with like the spikes and things like that, so like a lot
Right.
of the environment is like that I try to place on the maps is interactive. So
Mm-hmm.
if, for an example, you were to like run into the spike, I
Right.
would say like, you know, like, oh, well, you just ran into the spike. Like
Yeah, I was looking at that.
so that's why like I try to put like little red blood on some of them to kind of give that idea. But with that in mind, the center, as stated from Leo, is a pit that you could potentially use to your advantage as well.
Okay.
Now, using that to your advantage, it kind of means like being able to like push enemies in, for an example.
Right.
But with that in mind, you guys wouldn't be able to go directly across it without like attempting to jump over, and it is quite large.
Now, quick question: could we choose to push an enemy into a spike instead of attacking?
Yes.
Because I saw that under actions.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. But based on the fact that we don't want to kill these guys per se, I don't think I want to do that. But okay.
Eric almost killed a dude.
What I will say is I'll leave it up to you guys.
Alright.
They've been instructed not to kill you.
Yeah.
But at that same point, they are city guards, so if you would like to
Right,
show the
right.
same mutual respect, that's totally cool. If you don't,
I would
then
like to.
that's their duty.
Right. Now, is there like a extra set of damage for environmental type damage, or how does that work? Instead of just hitting somebody, pushing them into a spike.
So, for like an example, if you were to throw someone into like this pit, let's say it's only 10 foot down. It's not that big, but it's still a decent drop. Well, then
Right.
they would take, I believe it, if I'm remembering correctly, Crix, correct me if I'm wrong. I want to say it's 2d6 for every 10 foot of falling.
Clue does 1d6 per 10 feet of falling, but if you were putting them into a hazard like a spike, it's reasonable to make it 2d6.
Yeah, so like it'll vary off of like the distance of like how far, but if like, you know, maybe there's spikes down there, well then like they're gonna
Right.
take what they call bludgeoning damage from the fall, and then like also piercing damage from the
Bludge.
spikes.
Jeez.
So now for your class in particular, you have what is called an unarmed attack.
Right.
Those are like punches, kicks, headbutts, things like that. But if you wanted to use like your action to like impale an enemy on a spike, well, then you would have to like kind of outstrength them with like an athletics check, which would take your action.
Okay. Now, let's see. So I would use that action instead of my 2 strikes, because as a monk you get 2 strikes, right?
Your 2 strikes is 1 action.
Oh, 2 strikes, 1 action. Gotcha.
So it's either
Okay.
like you for an example, hit him with the quarterstaff and then follow with a punch, or you can like interact with an enemy trying to tackle, grapple, things like that. But I
'Cause
believe
I don't have the strength.
now I could be wrong. Shot Dog, you play monks a lot. Can you? I don't think you can still take your unarmed strike.
An action.
He can use an unarmed strike if he's using a key point.
Yeah, and then that's kind of okay. So the unarmed strike, when you use your attack, actually, okay. So I was right. So if you attempt to grapple or something, then you won't be able to use the unarmed strike because you have to use the attack action, and grappling isn't
Okay.
necessarily considered
Yep.
an attack.
Right. Okay.
But
I think I got you.
all great questions because that could mean a major difference in a battle.
Oh yeah, for sure. All right, I'm done.
But I also want to make sure that I'm explaining it correctly, so I'm going to double check the stuff in the book and make sure that I'm
Okay,
right before
okay.
giving you the wrong rule.
Cool.
Yeah, he still gets that bonus action swing though, right? Like he can make.
Yeah,
a
if he
unarmed
spends a key
attack.
point.
I think he gets a free one as a bonus action. Like if you're like two-handing a weapon, like you.
Yeah,
can,
yeah.
like, swing that one
If
without-
that would be if he makes the attack action, but if he were to like attempt to grapple, is what I'm saying, he wouldn't.
Oh, I'm with you. That's a full. Yeah. I'm with you. Cool.
To be perfectly honest, I was not sure. I thought like he might be able to do both because I knew his class, but like I said, I wanted to double check. But that does bring us to May.
Yeah, because it does say attack or cast a spell, dash, but then unarmed strike seems like it's a secondary move.
Yeah, it's a little bit different, but
Right.
when you're doing like main hand-to-hand combat, you'll notice like the difference because you'll be like attack. Okay, now my turns could be over, or I could attack 8 more times with key points.
It expands a lot more as you level up.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay,
Level-
so May. Oh, sorry.
No, go. It's your turn.
So how do I do that thing where I move and see how far I've been going?
So if you're on like the select option on like the top left, on like the very top icon that you can select,
Yeah.
left click and hold your token, and then where you move it, like right click, like while you're moving the token, and it should bring up like a ruler that only you can see.
Yeah. Wow, I'm also on Roll20 on a desktop for the first time since I've been like playing Dungeons and Dragons, and like, wow. Okay, so Maeve runs there and she's going to attack this guard with her longbow. Ooh, I think I pressed the wrong thing.
I believe that's the damage.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
You're attacking like the closest one to you, right? I just wanted to make sure I didn't see the
Yeah.
ping. You have a very light color.
Yeah. Let's see. Wow.
Well, that did
No.
not do any better, rolling a natural 1. So, as you pull your bow back for the first time, as you had stated, against an actual person versus a target dummy, like your nerves kind of kick in a bit, and as you start to shake, you release the arrow, but just as like your bow aimed slightly down towards the ground, and the arrow just and impales the ground before you. Anything else?
No, I just kind of like look on horrified with what I just did.
All right, which will bring us to Crix. It's your turn.
All right. Upon assessing the situation and knowing what Adashi's likely to do, knowing my little
Oh, yeah.
brother, Crix is going to use his action and movement action for a dash action. Right down here and place himself in between.
Perfect.
Yep. And that's going to be my turn. Just positioning for the fight to come.
All right, and as you sprint forward, it is finally the little brother's turn. While quite excited, you have definitely been kind of caught flat-footed in this situation, but it's finally.
Yeah, I think Adachi was.
Finally
He
your
was
go.
slow on the. Yeah, he was slow on the go, like kind of like overwhelmed. He goes, "My king, I'll protect you," and he's gonna go. I think he's gonna double move and just get 40 feet right in front of Vieric, and say, "I will guard your life with my life." And he just kind of pulls up his shield and has a scimitar drawn, ready to go. And that's his turn.
I had a feeling that's what you were going to do.
Yes, yeah.
With that, I will say, like, you know that like you're pretty close to the spike, and you can see some of the dried blood on it, along with the dried blood that is on the sand in the arena. But when you stand before Varric with your shield at the ready, this will provide a little bit of cover to your brother.
Cool.
Now, with us being, in like the learning process and everything, I'm not trying to like rush this at all. So let's go ahead and just take like a small break, and then we'll go through the next round when about 5 minutes, if that's cool with everybody.
Perfect.
Sounds good.
ERB.
Sounds good. See you in 5.
This way, usually at the halfway point, we'll try to take like a bathroom break, stretch our legs, all that kind of good stuff, so we're not just sitting here directly for 3+ hours. So we'll be right back in just about 5 minutes and see how the second round of their training combat goes. Be right back. All right. So, just answering a little bit of questions offline, making sure everything is, you know, keeping it tied up as neatly as possible. But at the top of round 2, we have Cryptili beginning the round.
Nice. So Cryptilli's pretty much is gonna do the same thing that she did last round. I'm gonna move up, knock a bow, and I'm gonna aim it at the person that is closest to us.
Got it. So after you fired off your first shot towards the one that your brother nearly took down with one arrow, and your bolt ricochets off the shield, you move down to give a little bit of reinforcements for the ones that are moving to the south. Take your hand crossbow, releasing a shot. Oof. Not boding well for you. And you are unable to find purchase with your crossbow bolt.
As I miss again, I'm now gonna raise my shield in my opposite hand.
All right. You take a slightly defensive posture. We end your turn. Moving to the one that Varek had wounded pretty severely, who will immediately lay down his, just release his spear and his shield and hold up a yielding sign and then move away.
Oh, nice.
Now, sometimes when your enemies are severely wounded, they will need to search within themselves to see if they can still stand within combat.
Oh, I was gonna use that.
Some will run away after being taken down or hurt or wounded so severely. Others might even flee at seeing their leader fall. And then I will remove him from the turn order as he is just making his way back into the tunnel. Which brings us to Varek's turn.
I'm gonna pop out from behind a dashi and shoot another arrow.
All right, going for the closest target.
Yes.
All right. And as you kind of just like peek around, aiming the bow, releasing, your arrow strikes true. Go ahead and roll me damage against this guard. Nice. So 5 damage. Now, unable to wound this one as severely as you had wounded the other, you can still see that you've dealt quite a decent chunk of damage to it as the arrow sinks in just slightly less than your previous one had done before. Now, for your turn, so far you have made your attack action. You still have a bonus action and some movement left.
I'll go ahead and take that. I'm gonna fire from where I'm at.
All right, so unfortunately, I don't think that you can use your bonus action at the moment to make another like attack. It will have to specifically say that you can use a bonus action. But as I said, you do have movement still left. Now, you are a are you a fighter ranger or did you just go straight ranger?
I went straight ranger.
Okay. Yeah. So that's unless you want to move, that's pretty much all you can do for a turn.
Nah, I'm gonna stay behind the dashi and hide behind the shield.
Yeah, it makes sense. Use your little brother for a A
Yeah,
meat shield.
Meat shield.
I couldn't think of the word.
Adachi says, "Excellent shot, my king. Stay behind me. I'll keep you safe."
So loyal. Too loyal.
Hey, cut it out.
Yeah.
What out?
Not you, him.
This
Oh.
this one will make his way over, closing the gap towards you, Creptilli, and has its spear and shield at the ready. This one will use its dash to close the gap towards you, Adachi. You've given yourself cover towards your lord, as you keep putting it. And this one will make it to here, and which brings us back towards you, Jastalin.
Is there any back damage bonus?
Is there any
I was
what?
wondering about that. That might be a little complex.
I think he's talking about attacking from behind. There are things called backstab.
Yeah. Or
You
like
don't
flanking
necessarily
or
have-
anything?
Okay, so there isn't like a backstab damage, but if you do take a flanking maneuver, you will have advantage to your attack roll.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Alright. Well, based on the fact that I'm a monk, I'm snatching off my chainmail because I think we were all given chainmail.
Yeah, so
And I'm
like
going
you were able to select whatever you wanted. You don't have to take that.
The chainmail?
Yeah, correct.
Okay.
Because
Well,
you
for
have
theatrics, I'm taking the chainmail off.
all right. Because I was gonna say, I'll allow you to do it. Technically speaking, that takes you about 10 minutes. So that would take like a shitload
Oh
of
my
rounds.
gosh, I thought I could just snap it off.
Yeah,
All right.
but there is stuff that you can get that like you can quickly do that. But
Okay.
for an example, I don't think that you actually. Yeah, okay, you don't have your like the chain.
So I probably wouldn't have put it on in the first place.
Exactly.
monk.
So
Okay.
like theoretically, like we'll say that you just like kind of like snap it off to like give yourself
Okay.
a little bit more movement, and you
Right.
feel a little bit more free as you kind of wield the short sword and clench your fists as the chain falls
Gotcha.
towards the ground.
Or maybe that's why I was hiding behind the pillar the whole time.
I like to
I
think you
can't
just
wear
left
this.
it hanging on, just like barely, so you could.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't think I wanted to wear that anyway.
Yeah, you don't
Like
have
those
it, but for
pants you
like an
snap off.
example, if you were wearing like chainmail, your armor would actually be less than what it is.
Right. Yeah, I was like, I did not want to wear chainmail.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I was going through making sure you were good. Now,
Okay, cool.
keep in mind, because I as much as I hate to do this, I'd rather be a stickler about it now than later. If you go through like where there's a spike or something, you
Right.
could potentially take damage. So make
Right,
sure that
right.
you coast around.
Okay, so boom. Can you see this?
I can't see your points yet until you release it, and then I'll be able
Okay.
to see it.
Gotcha. And you said we can go through our own characters, our own team?
Yep, that'll be it'll still list it as 5 foot, but then that'll just like take 10 foot of movement. So then you just double that particular square.
Okay.
Rough terrain usually takes like 50% extra of movement kind of thing. Or is it
Okay, hopefully I can do
it
this.
doubles it, I'll just say.
Alright. So now I should be able to attack, right? Plus the unarmed?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Alright, actions.
Perfect. So you did it properly and also in the proper order. Both of those
Nice.
are actually hits. So as you swing forward, like taking the backside of this guard, you find an opening, slashing down with the short sword connecting. Go ahead and roll me damage for that.
Okay, now how do we roll the damage again?
So right next to like with a short sword on your sheet where it says the +6, it'll have the damage right next to it. You just click that.
Okay. So future reference, I should have did short sword hit then the damage.
Yes, because in theory, like let's say you end up killing it, maybe you don't want that attack to go to that one.
Right.
And I'm also just curious, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna click short sword from. Okay, cool.
Oh.
If you actually click the word short sword under where it says you rolled a 19, it'll roll your damage. I wasn't sure if it would still do it properly, but it looks like it did.
One other quick thing, he did have flanking on those, so he had advantage on both of those
This
attacks.
is
I know he
true.
hit with both of them, but there's a chance he critted on them, so he should roll the attacks again just to
Correct.
see if he crits.
So go ahead and actually make me your short sword and your unarmed attack again, just in case you do roll a. Well, you did just roll max damage there, so that's good.
Okay.
But make me your attack rolls again, just in case you roll a nat 20, because then you could potentially damage double the damage.
Okay, so roll both attacks first.
Yep, just roll them both again one more time for me.
Wait,
You hit the dart on accident.
Oh shit, my bad.
That's fine.
So I did short sword. That one counted.
Yeah.
And then
So
unarmed.
far, they're still all hit. Yeah, unfortunately,
Okay,
no
so
natural
23,
20.
22.
Yeah, unfortunately, no natural 20, but still solid hits. So you rolled 10 damage, which is max damage with your short sword. So that was a good hit. And then go ahead and give me the unarmed strike damage.
Unarmed.
Oh, well, see, this is a perfect example.
Right.
The 10 damage, as you had stated earlier, not wanting to kill them but show them the same respect as they are to you. From your short sword, you will connect, and then this one knocks this one unconscious.
He's unconscious. Okay. Now, say we want to intimidate someone, can we attack them and then use like a proficiency, or does the proficiency count as like an action so you can attack?
So
A
for
check is an action.
A check is normally an action, but for like an emotion standpoint in the game, that's why I use like morale checks. So if you were just to like slay one like really quickly, or maybe like in one blow, and they think like they're a very powerful enemy, for an example, then I'll roll them a check, which is kind of replacing the intimidation, so you don't have to worry about using it.
Okay.
But you can flavor it, because normally what I'll say is like okay, that's enough to kill it. Like how do you want like the death to go? And a lot of people, they say like I cut off their head or something. This one, since it's like a non-lethal attack, you can flavor it in that aspect if you'd like, and then just like turn and like yell obscenities at someone, and then that'll like be like the intimidation factor.
Gotcha. Oh.
So with the short sword taking it out, if there is anything that you'd like to add to it, like flavor-wise, just adding like details to like the attack, anything that you'd want to say specifically, go right ahead.
Let the guys know. Leave them alone. Without next.
Yes, brother.
Time to support down south. They're coming.
But as you knock that one unconscious, it will bring us to the next guard. And as stated, we'll go ahead and make a check. And he's feeling pretty confident, so he will still move forward, closing the gap.
Okay.
And then it brings us down towards the south group. The north group has already whittled down their enemies quite quickly, but the others, you still have all three. It seems that you have split your forces to make the both of them meet an equal stopping point of same size. Wise, but you down in the south, shake the nerves loose and let loose. You're already being surrounded. In May, it is your turn.
Okay, I am going to run. Oh, I'm gonna run towards this one and attack with my short swords. Can I dual wield them? Since I have two? Is that how it works?
I think in theory you can, but like you'll have like penalties against it unless you have like the actual proficiencies.
What happens is she can use her bonus action to attack with her offhand weapon, but she doesn't get any of her bonuses to it. It's just flat weapon damage for the attack and just
Okay, yeah, so like you don't,
flat
yeah, you
weapon
don't
attack
you
roll.
don't get the proficiencies, so it's basically like you're rolling like the flat d20 in, for an example. But yes, and I believe it has to have like the finesse property, but I'm looking at your sheet now and I know that you do. Or not the finesse. I think it has to be the light.
The light.
Sorry, finesse is between 1 and 2 hands. Right? I don't know.
Okay, I don't know. I'm gonna roll the short sword though.
Yep, so your first attack is a natural 19, and you are flanking with Crix just on the other side, so go ahead and roll for a crit check. That's a critical fail, not the one you were wanting. But the 24 is a hit, so go ahead and roll damage. For 9 piercing damage. So as you strike well with the blade, finding purchase, you wound this one quite a bit. So if you still would like to take your bonus action swing, I don't think you have it on your sheet for an example. So
It just says actions in combat, 2 weapon fighting. That's all it says on my sheet.
Oh, if she has 2 weapon fighting, then she gets it's a normal weapon attack as her bonus action, but the damage doesn't get her skill modifier.
yes, I'm gonna
So she
pull it up right now just to make sure. Alright, that's right. I kept thinking that like everyone had picked fighter in the beginning. I keep forgetting that you're not.
So it would be the one. So for damage, it would be 1d6, but not +3.
I think with your 2 weapon fighting, like you're fine. I'm trying to find your feats and traits. Where is it? You know, I'm just gonna search it instead of looking through here. So 2 weapon fighting, when you take the attack action with a light melee weapon that you are holding in one hand, you gain a bonus action to, you can use the attack with a different light melee weapon for your bonus action. So you don't get anything knocked off, you just, you know, swing your other short sword basically.
With advantage? Because I'm still
Yes,
flanking?
you'll still be at advantage because you are flanking.
Wow.
I wonder why it doesn't list it directly in your sheet. That's weird. But, again, good to know.
Here we go.
That will be a hit, but go ahead and do the crit check. Alright, both of those are still good for a hit, so go ahead and roll me damage. And what I will ask is if you are showing the same leniency.
Yes. Absolutely not. Stabbing to kill, just to disable.
Okay, so as you sink in again with this short sword, attempting to disable, what I'll say is you'll pull it down, just slashing right across the forearm, and then like giving this short sword a little bit of a spiral motion as you just flick the spear out of this one's hands. And as soon as you do, he will put his hands up in a surrendering position.
Another one down. Don't hurt him more.
Good move, princess. Crix.
Let them live.
All right, the first thing I'm going to do for my turn is I'm going to spin the glaive in my hand so that the blade is facing backwards. And then I'm going to bring it down on the guard in front of me.
Not the one in between you two, but the one like to your cardinal west, correct?
Yes, not the one that's yielded.
Okay. Just making sure. Want to see how evil the party is.
Oh yeah, glaive. Oh my gosh, that's dangerous.
Unfortunately, a 13 is a miss. So as you kind of spin it around, pulling it, the glaive behind you, and you swing forward. The shield will be brought up from the guard. Fing! As it just kind of like blocks it, knocks it away. A little bit of sparks will come off as the blade connects with the metal shield.
All right, and that's going to do it for my turn.
Level 1. Level 1.
Yep.
Adashi.
Oh yeah. So Adachi will look to his brothers and say, "I can handle this one. Go help our siblings to the south." And so he's gonna run up. And not that it matters, but he's going to try to do a green flame blade. At this level, it's literally the same as just rolling his normal weapon damage. But I have not done this from roll 20 before, so I'm gonna see if I can get.
Green flame blade shouldn't be just your normal weapon damage.
So with green flame blade, it does normal weapon damage to who you hit, but then there's splash damage if there's someone within 5 feet. So it
Yeah.
doesn't
Oh,
really,
I'm
like-
thinking of booming blade. That's right.
Yeah. At higher levels, it does more damage than a normal
That's
attack.
right.
but right now,
I didn't
it's
take
just-
a green flame blade on my Eldritch Knight because then I'd have a negative DC or like lower than 10 because I have negative to my intelligence.
Oh.
So all I did was pop in the chat a description. Maybe I did that wrong.
It looks like you had clicked the damage.
Oh, okay. Cast on.
So again, because it doesn't do any damage, the splash damage would be like the 2. So
Oh, because I still roll a normal weapon attack.
Correct.
Okay, I'm on the same page now. Okay, cool. That was a good practice.
but as you said, like when you get at a higher level and you do that, it like when you roll the attack from there, it'll like say like, are you applying green flame blade? And then you'll click like, yeah.
So I rolled a natural 1.
Yes, you did. And
Good.
as you say, don't worry, I'll take care of this one. And your blade, your scimitar kind of like erupts into like these like slight greenish flames, unless you have something else specific you'd like to make it. That's totally up to you. You just like
No, I'm gonna
swing
say like
forward.
he's still, yeah, he's still trying to figure out his magic, and like like the tattoos probably glow a little bit, like a green color, and he like thinks he's got him, and he just completely whiffs it.
And he like the guard will like bring up the shield, but you won't even make a connection, and he'll just like go, you okay?
I meant to do that.
Of course.
And that's his turn.
And then that'll bring us back to Cryptilli.
Okay. Creep Tilly is starting to get a little antsy, like not like visibly, but you can see their cheeks are starting to rose up a little bit, and she's gonna cast Chill Touch.
And that frustration will continue. Unfortunately, the 15 is a miss.
And she's gonna cast it again since she has the Reaper trait. Can target 2 separate people.
Now,
Or is that off of the attack? I wanted to clarify that.
I'm gonna double check just so I know. But if it does have to be on a separate person, You learn one necromancy spell. You can cast a necromancy spell that normally targets one creature. Instead, it can target 2 creatures within 5 feet of each other. So, what that will do is, for an example, say your enemy was Crix's token right here, and you were attacking this one. You'd have the ability to attack both because they're within 5 feet. Unfortunately, you only have a comrade within 5 feet, but not an enemy.
Okay. I got it.
But it would work. It's just the distance that makes it not work.
Okay, good deal.
You could attack the comrade.
I guess technically, yeah, that's true.
Yeah, let's not do that. So if I would have moved up in between the two, then I could have done that.
I think it says that they have to be within 5 feet of each other. Yeah, of each other. So
They'd have to be in squares that touch each other.
Yep, they have to be in squares that touch each other. It's not 5 feet of you.
Okay, beautiful. Thanks for that clarification.
No problem. But that is a very awesome feature. Yeah. It's then
That's
single
gonna end
target
my-
stuff. When it's close, it's still AoE. That's dope.
Yeah. So good deal.
All right. So what I
Yeah,
will say is that, because I'm pretty sure. Oh no, chill touch is. Never mind. I always think it's a touch, but it just throws me off because of the name.
Yeah, 100%.
Varek, it's your turn. Varek.
So first of all, I was wrong. I do have a sword, so sorry about that.
No problem. I'm looking at your character sheets. I know it's there.
I'm
That's why I was saying you just have to have it like clicked as equipped, so then that way it shows up.
Okay. So I'm gonna run up next to Adachi and attack to protect him with my
Before you
short
make
sword.
your attack, you have plenty of maneuverability to take a flanking maneuver. If you get behind your opponent, it'll toggle the advantage feature.
Literally doubling your likelihood to hit.
Yep.
Oh,
Hint,
okay.
hint.
Mathematically speaking.
My bad.
Nope, that's literally why we're doing this, so then like it can get everyone to learn.
Okay, so do I just roll for hit damage now?
Yes, but do me a favor. When you click it, for the hit, hold shift and then click. It should roll it at advantage.
Oh, so you do it.
Perfect. You see how it did right there for him in like the chat where it's like the 15 and the
15
9?
and 9.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, both of those are misses. But then that way you don't have to click it twice. It helps just a tad bit.
So is the advantage only behind the enemy or also when flanking them?
So it's in like a flanking maneuver. So, there's multiple ways to. I'll RP it because that was like the point of it. There's multiple ways to gain advantage on attacking your opponent. Either pinning them into a corner and surrounding them from all angles, or having a comrade that's directly adjacent from you on the like a square away.
Like a distraction.
You don't have to be just from left to right, but you can be diagonally or north and south
Right.
as well.
An easy way to think about it is you're dividing the opponent's attention between you and an ally, which gives you much greater chance to hit.
So what's this bonus move thing that I have?
Your bonus action?
Yeah.
Right now, I don't think that you have any, but I will recheck your character sheet to double check.
Okay.
Yeah, unfortunately, you don't have any right now. You'll get some later, like spells that you can cast that are bonus actions.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, this is what sucks about being level 1. But I wanted to start you guys at a higher level so that way it would like you could get into some of the more fun stuff a little bit quicker. But if I did that, then like you wouldn't really know how to make your character sheets and everything. So that's why we did it. Like I decided to do it this way. But it'll be at an expedited process. Trust me.
Okay, that's the end of my turn.
All right, which brings us to the guards, and the guard will make their first attack against you, Crix.
Bring it.
That is an 8 to hit. I hope that's a miss.
That is indeed a miss.
All right, and yeah, okay. I was gonna say they definitely don't have multi-attack or anything. This one's been knocked unconscious, and then it'll bring us to this one, who will move up to here. Repeatedly, odds or evens?
I'll take evens.
Okay, well then this attack is going for you as it steps forward, noticing the one as that was flanking Crix has now kind of yielded, but then this attack will go directly at you. That is for an 11 to hit, which is a miss.
Indeed, it is.
Which will bring us to Stalin's turn again.
All right. Gonna swing around the north side, try to get some advantage while he's distracted. As I'm coming around, I'm swinging at him with my blade.
Now, unfortunately,
go
that
for a
won't give you
low sweeping
advantage
kick.
unless a teammate is on the other side of you. Now, if he was
Oh,
pinned
other
up
side of
against
me.
pinned up against a wall and had no path of escape, then that would help.
Gotcha. So no advantage except for whatever skill I might have.
Correct.
All right.
Adashi's gonna say, guys, I had this.
We're learning. And then damage to both.
All right, so the short sword is a hit, but the unarmed strike is not. So
Yeah.
you will deal 5 damage with the short sword.
How damage it is.
So as you swing forward, slashing, you do find some of the flesh with the blade, and you cut in just a bit, and you can see like the kind of pain just like stretch across his eyes. Ugh! And then as you kind of strike forward with like a fist, I'm guessing, unless you'd rather try to headbutt your opponents. I have people that do that a lot.
Right.
But you like try to strike forward with the fist, but he's able to just like kind of like put down his shoulder a little bit, and you connect into the chain armor.
Right. I was confident though.
Anything else?
How many moves was that? Boom, boom, boom. For now, I think that's it. That's all the attacks I can do. But I guess to protect myself.
And keep in mind, if you move away from your enemy, they'll have a chance to attack you. Unless you
Wait, that's true too. They can't move.
you use your action instead of attacking to tactfully withdraw, taking the disengage action.
But you can't do that this turn because you already
Yeah,
attacked.
Correct.
like I don't have a lot of moves left. I'm gonna stay put. I'll stay put.
But
Wise decision.
Yeah, I was thinking about tricking them into the spikes or something, but nah, it's not happening.
this one is not feeling well after the last solid couple of connections with him, and he will drop his spear in a yielding format as well. Which moves us back to this one, and assuming that you all aren't going to hit him after he's yield, he will just move away. But if
Not
you
me.
wish to take an attack of opportunity on this one to the south, you have the option.
No, I'm good.
I'll let him leave the field of battle.
And he will do just that. May, brings us to your turn.
So I move there and go for short sword. Is that still flanking?
Nope, you'll need to be down just on the other side of your brother.
Right.
Ah.
But if you stay there, it could be advantageous when my turn comes around.
Great. I still get 2 attacks anyways. Haha.
Unfortunately, the 13's a miss. You swing forward with the next short sword attack. Oh,
Wow.
not rolling well. I guess being quite nervous with just attacking actual people. You drew blood and maybe it kind of, I don't know, gave you a little bit of a scare.
Yeah, I think being used to the hunt, I'm used to hunting animals down until they're dead. I'm not really used to this play fighting.
Oh, you're going too easy on them, huh?
Yeah, that's what it is. You're going too easy.
It's just so hard not to totally annihilate them. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's hard to withhold your attacks when you're not going for the kill.
I'm trying to dial it back, and I'm just overcorrecting. Is the problem?
Craigs, it'll be your turn here.
I'm going to shift right down here. And I am going to attack the one to my north with my glaive.
All right. Well, you will have advantage on this. You do not need it with a natural 20. By the way, I did want to say, like, how cool was it? I know you guys had brought it up in chat, but that the first roll that Varric made for his first ever attack roll in D&D was a natural 20.
That is super cool.
How
Yeah, that was
lucky.
solid.
I was literally like, "Don't get used to it." Seriously.
Okay, so do me a favor before you roll the damage dice again. On roll 20, underneath like where it says 25 in like the chat window, click the word glaive for me. All right. Well, that worked much better, and you had max damage. Perfect. Okay, cool. So,
Sweet.
I mean, way more than enough to take it down. So is there anything that you'd like to do? Is this one will not get the chance to yield, but will be knocked, unless you're trying to kill him, unconscious.
Oh no, my blade was still turned backwards, so I just knocked him out.
Got
I
it.
just brought it down hard on his shoulder and head, and he's just down. He crumpled.
As soon as you like connect with like the back end of the blade, you see like his eyes grow wide and like kind of bulge out a little bit as like a bit of spittle comes out of his mouth. Blah! And then he like falls directly down to his knees, and you just see him unconscious, weak, waving, falls forward against the sand.
This is why you don't get between me and my siblings.
Literally.
And that'll end my turn.
All right, Adachi, make up for that last one.
So the guy in front of me, did he yield?
Yes,
on
he
his
did.
turn? So it would be pretty shitty of me to attack him, even though he yielded, right?
Please, no birthday murder.
In theory,
Yeah,
yeah, I would say ethically, yeah, I guess I would kind of make it shitty to attack him after he yields, but with
Yeah, so
what
I
was
guess-
presented, it's still an option.
Yeah, I guess Adachi will give him like the good game nod, and then he's going to. I don't think I can do much. So I can double move. Can you sheath your sword and draw a crossbow? And he has a shield and a scimitar out, so he probably can't put both of those away and draw a crossbow as a free action, right?
I would say if you're trying to put like both away, then I would require a bonus action. But if you wanted to take the crossbow out with like one hand, putting the sword away, leaving the shield out, you could still, in theory, do it. It would be a pain in the ass to reload, but most people would probably keep it.
Can I do that to try to take like one shot?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So yeah, so he'll move there, and then
I wouldn't suggest doing it from so close.
There's
Well,
disadvantages to being too close with a crossbow.
Yes. If you're using a ranged weapon and you get too close, it might hinder your attack.
It's just within 5 feet, though, right? Disadvantage, or am I wrong?
Depending on what kind of crossbow you're using.
Light crossbow? Is it?
Light, I don't think it will, but let me double check.
You know, hearing that, he'll go 5 feet back.
So if I'm not
and-
mistaken, like the range for like the way like the bows works, is it's like, for like a light crossbow, it's in between like 80 and 320. So
Yep.
I think if it's within
Well,
like
I think
what?
the first range increment's 80.
Yeah, as long as it's not within 5 feet, you're good. If I'm not mistaken. trying to
Cool.
remember off the top of my head.
Okay, so he's gonna roll on the crossbow. And he nat wants it again.
Yeah, it's only 5 feet.
So yeah, so he misses.
Well,
He almost hits a sibling.
You're getting better, little brother.
give me a deception check.
Okay.
But if there's nothing else for you there, if you want to believe him, you can. It's totally up to you.
I feel like if I rolled it insight, it would be less than that. So yeah, it's gonna be like, thank you, Crix. I'll do better next time.
So I don't know how much you're improving, but if rolling, like missing wildly is improvement, I would hate to see how it was going beforehand. But that'll bring us back at the top of the turn order again with Cryptilli.
Yep. So this time she's gonna cast Chill Touch.
Now, keep in mind what was just stated for like the ranged attacks with the spells and arrows.
Spells can't be cast in that much.
It's like the ranged attacks like would include even just ranged spell attacks. So it says ranged attacks in close combat. Aiming a ranged attack is more difficult when a foe is next to you. When you make a ranged attack with a weapon, a spell, or by some other means, you'll have a disadvantage on the attack roll if you are within 5 feet of the hostile creature. And who isn't incapacitated. But unfortunately, this one is not incapacitated. So, you can move back and attempt to do it, or you can roll it at disadvantage.
Just roll at the disadvantage.
Unfortunately, it's a miss.
Yep, no worries.
Sorry, bud.
It's harder to touch them when you're too close.
Yeah, it's still the chill touch at a range. It's a range. I don't know why they call it touch. Varek, though, it's your turn.
Should be hands on.
So I'm gonna sheath my sword and move here and shoot my bow.
Damn, don't hit me.
All right. 22 will be a
I'm
hit.
ducking while he's doing this.
The heir to the throne is doing work.
Yeah, killing it.
Just
Go ahead
trying
and
to
roll
show
me.
baby brother how to do it.
Go ahead and roll me damage, bud.
Show baby brother how to shoot baby brother.
Damn.
Holy shit. So that will be enough to take that one out and knock him unconscious. Anything you'd like to add to that specifically?
Nah, that's how it's done, siblings. That's how it's done.
Well,
Yeah.
it seems that you had taken them down. Some seem to have a natural knack for this. Others, not so much. We'll need to hone your skills a bit more. But with that in mind, each of you have definitely earned a bit of rest. Help your brethren out of the arena and get some attention from the medics. We will, well, to be honest, actually, each of you look fine. If you wish to continue, we could, move on to the next round, but each of these guards will definitely need a moment to rest.
I'm gonna pick up the guard that I just annihilated and carry him out of the battlefield towards wherever they're putting the people.
Pretty close to one myself. I might as well follow suit.
As they're doing that, I'm gonna kneel down and look over the one, very temptingly, and then I'm just gonna stand up quickly and walk away.
Temptingly?
He was gonna pickpocket his own guards.
Oh,
Oh wait, this is a turn order too.
All right.
Adashi's gonna throw his crossbow in the ground, and like he's just so angry because that combat did not go well for him at all. Like I'm still not good enough.
So at this point, I'll go ahead and I'll take it out of like turn order so you can freely move about. But you'll hear Leo call out from the other side of the arena. Well, we still have plenty of daylight left. If you all wish to continue some training, we can get a couple more things done. But perhaps it's best that we not go forth with any other physical combat for today.
I think tomorrow I'll come back in my regular leather armor instead of the scale mail. It weighed me down too much.
Well, then each of you sit tight and listen to some of these lessons. While you are out and about within the wild of Zidane, you will find yourselves surrounded by somewhat formidable foes from time to time. And then he will ask, please, each of you approach, stand in a line right here next to your brother, just Stalin.
And he pulls out the skin.
What?
Wow, you guys fell right
One-
into formation. That was pretty
One
good.
victory sip.
Oh, nice. I thought you meant Leo was like pulling off his skin, and I was like, no.
Right. I had it attached the whole time.
Wow,
He was a changeling all along.
each of you take a look down into this hall. I'll show you what other kind of foes you could be facing while out in Zidane. And with each of you looking down the hall, can each of you give me a perception check?
Oh,
All right. So, because your passive's higher, you still succeed there, Adachi. But as everyone looks down in the hall, you'll see these very furry-looking humanoids, dogs with human characteristics, and as they're kind of like dark-furred and almost kind of like a primitive style, blood on like their muzzles and fangs for teeth. You'll see them with like some of the light as it kind of glares off their eyes as their eyes shimmer in the darkness of this tunnel. As they bare their teeth and growl at each of you as you peer down. Now, some of the others, and you will hear the sewer like gate, like this iron seal kind of slide against the stone in the sand and uncover the hole. And as it does, you'll begin to hear a like mechanical like I'm trying to think of the right word for it, like tick, as like like this platform begins to be raised from the level below. And as it does, you will see a fairly formidable looking knoll be raised up behind you. While in shackles and tied down to the platform that raised it, it doesn't seem to pose you or threaten any of you at the moment. But as it's baring its teeth and kind of snapping its jaws at each of you, you can see its eyes glowing red with hate.
Crix is gonna clinch the handle on his glaive. Or the shaft.
Now, this one isn't too threatening. It might be showing each of you a bit of a challenge if you were to be caught with multiple of these. The other ones usually prove themselves to be, well, quite weak. But, and then he'll like give like a little bit of a signal with his hand, and as he does, you'll hear as the knoll begins to be lowered, and then you'll hear like the chains rattle as it's seemingly that this one is being unhooked, and you'll hear some like muttered voices from below kind of ushering it forward. Then you'll hear the chains again attaching something else to this platform, and as it raises back up, making the same sound as it did before, then a different knoll will appear. Now, this one here may seem to be a bit like the other, but as you can tell, its white fur makes it quite distinguished from what you had just seen. These gnolls are from the north. These ones are twice as strong and twice as deadly as any of the other gnolls that you'll find more commonly. And as this one is bound in its shackles and chains and kind of just tied down to the platform below, every time it like tenses and tries to like out muscle itself, the chains will just like grow tight. As it just pulls, you can see its muscles bulging with little bits of veins kind of popping from the patched fur it has on its body. And while it struggles, it will just kind of bring its attention to each of you. You can see its fangs yellow in color, eyes just as bright of a yellow, peering at each of you. Now, as far as I'm concerned, if you run into anything like this in any near future,
Get out.
Run.
Get out. Taking a good look at it right now, so I had to step up just a little bit.
Keep note that you will find other foes that may seem as they are easily vanquished, but they might be of a higher combat knowledge than each of you combined. If you ever run into such a situation, hopefully your gut instincts will tell you, and you'll know to, well, get out while you can. Mechanically speaking, what I will say, what that means is you will have the chance of running into creatures that are not your level. With that in mind, it won't be something that you necessarily can't beat. It will be something where it's like a 10% chance that you succeed. For an example, you guys aren't going to be level 1 and run into an ancient dragon that is like a combat rating 24, which the way like it kind of works out, like not really, but like how it kind of works is each CR is usually like a level. So if you guys are level 1 fighting a CR1 creature, you should be able to fight equal of number. In theory. It doesn't always work that way because this is a random dice game, but in theory.
Mm.
But with that said, you'll have to make sure that you're not just rushing into battle. Sometimes you won't have a choice. You might be tricked. Some things, like statues, may come to life and spring upon you, setting traps. Just as the center hole that lays in the middle of this arena. While you are able to see this one, some may be hidden. Always
So-
keep an eye.
Just a question. Will we know what those dog-looking creatures were called that were inside the gate in the hallway?
Those are gnolls.
Okay, so each one of these 3 were different variations of gnolls.
And this last one's like an elite null.
Mm.
What I will do is I'll move like all of them, like, so the ones that are in there, this one that's like up towards the front is like the first one that came out, but these other ones that are over to the left are like your like basic run of the day modern gnolls. Now, each of the other ones you can see like there's little difference of variations. The eye color for one and like fur color for another. Now, with that in mind, it won't be so easily distinguishable between some things. You might run into stuff that's twice the size but equally easily vanquish as if it's one of these creatures. So you always just have to make sure that you're learning from your experiences and taking the situation in before running forward. Understood?
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Well,
Yeah, we got it.
with
Of
that in
course.
mind, it does seem that the weather is going to be taking a turn for the worst. According to my resources for tomorrow. So, if that is the case and we are unable to do any training, I think I've seen enough to be able to make some decisions on how to proceed. But before we get to that, and then he will give like a bit of a whistle, and I don't want to whistle because some people are wearing headsets and that's like really loud. But I'll back up from the mic a little bit and do it. Hopefully I don't hurt anyone's ears. And then you'll hear, and as the knoll behind you begins to be lowered down, simultaneously the portcullis in front of you begins to raise.
Mm.
And he'll say, "Now, these ones won't be holding back. Bear yourselves. Be ready." And you'll hear the gnolls kind of cackle a little bit. And that's where we'll go ahead and call the session for the night. Because obviously this combat is going to take a little bit longer than what probably just happened. These ones are a little bit more of like a beefy character, to say the least. But with that in mind, and as we call it for tonight, I know like the next holiday or like the next couple of weeks have holidays and everything, but if we're able to pick it up next week, I'm personally more than able to, but we can just discuss it in Discord chat over the holidays. Plus, I know like with families and everything's always kind of like a toss-up, so we'll just play it by ear for the most part. But with that in mind, what I will say is if there's any questions or anything that you'd like to say before we get out of here for the night, feel free to do so.
I think that was a pretty dope session, going through the tutorial and learning a little more about Roll20 and whatnot. I felt like it
It's
flowed
my
a little
first session, so I
smoother.
agree.
Yeah, I mean, I've used Roll20 before, and it's still well. And I'm new to D&D Beyond and Beyond 20, so I love that. I loved it.
It makes it a little bit easier. The downside is, it's still a learning curve because it's something new.
Nah, I think you did good, especially with this being my first time. So I'm kind of starting to get it and pick it up slowly, but I mean, you did your thing.
Mhm.
You did really good for your first session.
We
Yeah,
appreciate the
agreed.
patience. Got
Yeah.
tabs everywhere right now.
Yeah. One day I'll show you what my screen looks like as the DM
Yeah,
side.
but
I've got multiple desktops with all the stuff like pulled up, then like all the tabs for like different enemies, because in technically, like, if you guys would have hit these guards like every turn, then it may have only been like 1 to 2 rounds of combat depending on the damage, and then this would have been a little bit more difficult.
mm,
Now, again, as you said, like, these ones won't be holding back. It doesn't mean you guys are gonna die, like, right? Like, but you know just it'll give you more of like a realistic, like, these ones are gonna be like, like kind of shooting for you versus an easy peasy like guard, for an example. So it'll start to give you like an idea of like the difficultness between like combat ratings, even though you guys aren't, well, you may know, but you're not technically supposed to know like what they are. It'll start to give you an idea.
Hmm.
Cool.
But I do want to say, and I want to know if anyone agrees with me, does Varric to anyone else look like Madara Uchiha, or is it just me?
Oh, kind of. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's definitely him.
oh
Those
man,
white hair. Uh huh. Yeah.
They just put a
Mara,
blue filter over him.
I can see that.
The first time I saw it, I was like, ah, yes, you're Madara Uchiha. I see.
Right. Just need to make the hair black.
Well, we got Rock
No
Lee over
character
here
art
taking
needed.
off his weighted
Yeah,
vest to go
yeah.
punch
Yeah,
people.
right. Rock
Yeah,
Lee
well,
just
that
took off his jean shirt and was
also
like,
have my
fuck this.
kunai. I don't leave without my little short blade.
Oh my gosh, that is funny. After you took off that chain shirt armor, like for like flavor aspect, it basically
Right.
was like his weights for training. That's funny.
Yeah,
He
it's
said
like
he
I'm ready
started
now.
hitting.
After 10 minutes of pulling it off, hiding behind some spikes.
Now, like, again, like we were doing it for more of like a flavor aspect, but like in like a larger like when we're like in combat, like for like
Right.
playing like later on, a combat round is 6 seconds, I believe it is, and like 10 rounds is a
Oh,
minute. So if you were to like try to take off your armor or put it on, if you
it'll
got
take the
caught
whole
with it off,
time.
for an example, that's forever in combat. You
Right,
basically
right.
just, if you get caught with it off, you're like, fuck it, it's not on, and then you just
Yeah.
go. For you, it doesn't matter because of your class, but for others it might make a difference.
Mm-hmm.
I had an armor related question because I think I definitely picked scale mail by accident versus leather armor. But my question is, since we're like, royalty, couldn't I technically switch into like a studded leather?
Yeah, if there's any items that you guys want, as long as it's not at the moment like a +1, +2, +3, or a magical item, for an example, you're allowed to have whatever you want. You guys have all the basic resources. So if you wanted studded leather, or even if you did want scale mail, for an example, like, you're more than welcome to do so. Now, when we get to the point where you guys will have like a choice of like weapons, then we'll RP and kind of make some rolls and see how it works out. But other than that, you're welcome to pretty much whatever you want. the
Wait,
benefits
so
of
we can
being
pick
a royal family.
armor, but we can't pick weapons right now?
No, you can pick weapons too.
But not +1.
Yeah. So
Okay.
normally +1, +2 weapons are considered magical weapons. I don't consider them
Yeah.
magical in Elista. I just consider them better crafted. But for the time
Okay.
being, they're still like a restricted item from you guys because I want you guys to get used to the basics before we start worrying about adding those like extra little things. Now, the +1 kind of thing isn't that much to worry about, but you know, we'll tackle that bridge when we get there. You okay? You got a boogie? Anyway.
Oh.
I'm like, who was that?
Anyways,
Kelly.
if no one has any other things that they'd like to shout out for here, I'll go ahead and sign us out for tonight. I have a couple of like shout outs to do before we log out, but I get those done fairly quickly.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right. So up in the top left on the stream, you can see all the affiliates pictures scrolling through. We have Lady Loxer that did some of the character art and some of the other campaigns that did the logo for me that you see here. Sword Coast Soundscapes that we had for the ambiance music in the background and just kind of playing. X Epic Journey for the copyright-free battle music that we heard tonight during our little excavate with the, I almost said the gnolls, but for the guards. Here's one a Discord channel that helps support DMs that stream Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop RPGs, and Ninja Monkey Discord server, which just helps streamers variety of all sorts. If you are watching the stream and you haven't already, please do drop a follow and leave that bell notification on to be notified when I go live. And if you really are feeling froggy, you can click some of the links down below, join the Discord of all the sorts of the things, get in contact with some of the affiliates for and the partners for the stream, and also check out the YouTube channel and my Twitter and all that other fun stuff. Yay. Anyways, other than that, I might be playing another game here in just a little bit, but everyone else have a good night. We'll see where when we come back for Fight for Blight Session 2. I'm assuming next year, but like I said, I'm free whenever you guys are free, so. But everyone have a good night.
Cool.
Say bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Later.
Bye.